Is it legal to dump RV gray water on the ground? That's what we're talking about today. It's a hot topic, but it is a question that so many new RVers ask. If you want to find out the answer, stay tuned. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me here today. Let's get to it and talk about where you can dump RV gray water on the ground legally, or if you can even do it. So before we get into the answer, what is RV gray water for those of you who might not be aware of what RV gray water is? Basically, in an RV, there are three types of water. Fresh water, which is where water is stored to be used, and then fresh water becomes either gray water or black water. The gray water comes from sinks and showers, just general washing of dishes or bodies, and then it goes into a gray tank. Black water is pretty much all the toilet water. That's the difference. There's usually a tank for both of those in an RV. Now, is it legal to dump RV gray water on the ground? 99% of the time, it's illegal to do it, but there are times, supposedly, where it is perfectly legal to do it on public lands. Now, we did a lot of research on this to see where it is legal. And the best resource we found online was the Boondocker's Bible. It is an awesome resource where they've collected different public lands and the laws pertaining to those in terms of dumping RV gray water. Here's a brief snippet of what they had to say. In regards to BLM land, it's not illegal to dump gray water or empty gray tanks on open ground on public BLM areas. If there is a developed campground on the BLM land, it is usually illegal in that case. And if you're searching for a free campsite on Campendium or free campsites and it's leading you to a campground on BLM land, then that's probably considered a managed campground where it would then be illegal to dump your RV gray water. And even more importantly, really the BLM laws on this are a case-by-case basis. So even if we talk about some generalized rules right now from the Boondocker's Bible, even they say that it's case-by-case and you have to really talk to the office of each BLM area to see if it's allowed or not. So that's why we say 99% of the time it's not allowed. You might find that 1%, but you're going to have to dig to find if it's actually legal on those BLM sites. As far as the U.S. Forest Service goes, officially it's illegal to dump gray water on the ground of the Forest Service. Pretty cut and dry. National Park Service, same rule, illegal to dump on National Park Service land. And then state parks, it does vary from state park to state park, but again, the rule applies. 99% of the time, it's going to be illegal to dump the RV gray water on open ground. With that in mind, one of the biggest questions we get, in the comments always go to this, is why can tent campers dump gray water on the ground? A tent camper doesn't even have a sink or a shower or anything like that, yet they use outdoor showers or they clean their bowls and dishes just over open ground with some container of water. Tent campers have a lot more leniency as this is concerned because the gray water or the water that they're using is going directly on the ground after washing. Now, if they're using some harmful soaps, it's still a huge issue. But if they're using safe, environmentally safe soaps, it's not that big of an issue because if you look at it in terms of an RV, you're using it in the RV sink, you're using it in the RV shower, that gray water goes into a gray water holding tank, which is probably months or years old, and over that time, it's had a lot of opportunity to collect bacteria in that tank. So that tank probably is not very clean. In fact, it's probably pretty dirty, and any newly used gray water that then gets held in that gray tank is being exposed to a lot more harmful bacteria that could then be exposed to the environment if you were to just empty it on the ground. So that's really the biggest difference between the gray water usage in a tent or whenever you're camping in nature like that and gray water usage whenever you're in an RV. It's not that hard to find a dump station, and this is the beauty of it all. If you have an RV, you can probably get a dump station access pretty easily. You can go to any nearby RV park and maybe pay a $5 fee to dump out your gray and your black water. A lot of gas stations, truck stops in particular, have dump stations that you can use for a few bucks. City parks often have free dump stations. You can find those on Campendium. And even some state rest stops have free dump stations. In fact, if you want to find all the places, we have an article about where you can dump your RV gray water. I'll link that in the description so you can find some easy places to do it, because it's our recommendation not to dump it on the ground. Not only you're really treating nature in a better way if you don't dump it on the ground, but you're potentially avoiding fines, because 99% of the time it's going to be illegal to dump the gray water on the ground. So you don't want to get fined, you don't want to harm nature. Take a look at that article that we're going to link in the comments and in the description. It'll let you know where you can dump the gray water for cheap or free, and therefore, hey, we'll have a cleaner environment and you won't be fined, which is very important. So thank you for watching today. Hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time. Later on.